Milan in northern Italy. This is an explosion that has been reported. The exact cause, how it happened, we don't know. But of course, at this point, the entire law and order situation, or whether it was some kind of an attack that has been witnessed, that cannot be ruled out. Robindra Sachdev, who's a foreign affairs expert, is also joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Sachdev, good evening. Any details that you're picking up from your sources or the people you perhaps know in Italy? How is it that we should understand this?
Actually, I've not picked up any new details or other than what you're already sharing.
Sure.
This has happened just, recently, and you'll obviously be getting it first earlier than us lay people. That said, as you said very truly, nothing can be speculated as of now. It could be as simple as an accident. A van was carrying some hazardous chemicals, materials, etc. It exploded. Accidents do happen. But at the same time, yes, it could also be possible that, some elements, of course, inimical to to the establishment or in Italy could have given, could have implemented this. The only thing we can say overall is that, Italy and all of Europe, but Italy also, in all of these countries, there is a growing, both sides. One is harder on immigration because in Italy, if you see, the recent government, the new government is a more hardline rightist government, right? Much more stronger anti-immigrant and all. At the same time, in these countries, you do have elements, you have refugees also which have come from various countries, especially the Arab countries. Right. So one never knows what could be the cause. Give it a
Till it is confirmed. Till it is confirmed. And Ravindra, as you rightly said, that this could just be an explosion at a truck that was carrying some material which was explosive in nature. We don't know. There are a variety of possibilities which are open at this point in time. Details are waited. The local authorities will have to make a statement and confirm. We are keeping a close check on the local media as well, who's tracking the story right now. But you can see in these visuals as well that we're playing out on the screen, where locals can be clearly seen in a lot of panic. There's frenzy around. A lot of vehicles that were parked in the vicinity have caught fire, and it doesn't look good at all. Whether this was a pre-planned blast or some kind of accident that has happened, all possibilities are open. But we're discussing the broader socio-political reality in which Western Europe operates and what has been the key contentious political issues which pertain to a law and order situation. Broadly speaking about them, once again going back to Pathikrit, who continues to be with us on the broadcast. Pathikrit, it's a right-wing government in the country right now, which is at least seen to be far more strong in protecting, quote-unquote, the national interests.
Well, that's true. But, if there is a right-wing government and if there are crackdowns happening, then it also, in retaliation, the possibility of terror attacks go up. Because, unless you are absolutely sure about you have covered up all the, exposed areas. The second thing is this, that, I hope there is no cover-up that happens. In many cases, we have seen, unfortunately, in case of India, also in some of the southern states, we have seen when there were attempts of terror attack, there was an attempt to cover it up by saying, no, it was just a normal generic explosion. We hope that it is not a terror attack. But if it is a terror attack, then it means, and it seems very clear, that there are these elements which are extremely radicalized, and this network which is actually pushing the lone wolf attack are very much present. So if it is an attack of terror, then the government should come up and there should be a proper investigation to find out the entire network and module behind it. That is a very important thing. Unfortunately, many of the European states have been completely in a state of denial. Third thing is that if you see what is happening in case of Europe, the amount of effort they are putting to fund the war between Ukraine and Russia, and it is actually compromising their funding and effort and focus on internal security also. Literally today, there is no internal security in Europe. Because of European Union, you can actually under Schengen go to one state to another. No one stops you. So somebody can enter, in Belgium and go to any of the 8 to 10 or 15 states, anywhere. Nobody stops in terms of asking.
The Schengen area is a free area. And Pathikrit, I'm just trying to weave together the recent attacks that we've seen in Europe. And of course, the most grim reminder is the November 2015 Paris attacks. But there have been a lot of lone wolf attacks that have been seen in Western Europe, in Netherlands, in France. What is the last one that you can remember offhand?
Well, I think there were certain attacks in Belgium, which comes to my mind. And in Belgium, there are areas which have become the majority of the population becomes, of the immigrants. And secondly, what happened during the World Cup also, there were major sectarian violence, which actually took a very communal line because Belgium actually lost to Morocco, I think. So there are very, very strong fault lines in Europe. We have to understand, even though these states have tried to accommodate the illegal immigrants, as refugees or whatever, we must remember that most of these countries were once colony of these European countries. So the resentment against the European countries remain very profound, even if they have come to these countries. So a combination of colonial resentment, combination in addition to, the religious differences and radicalization, if it gets amplified into a very, very dangerous cocktail, that needs to be managed. And if there are challenges because of which you are denying it, you don't try to project, you try to push forward the multicultural brand because of which you will push everything beneath the carpet, then in some way or other it actually implodes this way. I repeat, we have to wait for confirmation, but the kind of explosion and the kind of shockwave through which other vehicles are burning, we see, the possibility is also very profound that somebody was waiting to go to another place to hit a target, and before that the detonation happened. It often happens with bulletproof attacks.
Stay with us on the broadcast. I want to have your expert opinion with us on the show. My colleague Sanjay Suri, who tracks European development politics for us, is joining us on the broadcast. Good afternoon, Sanjay. What are the details you're picking up? What is the preliminary information?
Well, the information is really at a very early stage because this has happened only a very short while ago.
Yeah.
We know that there was a very loud explosion in Milan, and this was on Via Pier Lombardo. Now, this is bang in the heart of Milan. It's a very popular commercial area and a shopping area, and there has been a number of cars that have been burnt in this explosion, and there are a number of institutes and buildings nearby. They have been damaged, and all the areas around have been evacuated. And this is now, of course, a matter of emergency, and the first priority of the police and the fire brigade is to put out these fires, to cordon off the area, to sanitize the surroundings.
Sanjay, I'm not going to press upon and ask you the cause, because you clearly said that we don't know. We'll get to know in few minutes from now, perhaps, when the local authorities make a decision. What was the local time? What exactly is the location? Is this the city center? Are there any indications that, God forbid, any individuals or people have been hurt?
Well, this is a blast that occurred on Via Pier Lombardo, and this is the commercial center of the city. The areas around it have been evacuated. We are only a very short while now since this has happened. There have been no immediate reports of any casualties, but the police have evacuated the buildings around this area.
Okay.
And there have been a large crowd gathering around there, and the police have been trying to push them back. And one of the buildings evacuated around was a school. And this was evacuated following the blast. The kids were taken away safely. But of
So,
course,
Sanjay, right now it's about 12:40 p.m. in Milan. So roughly 20 minutes ago, between 12:15 and 12:20, if I'm right, that's when the blast must have occurred. When you say it's the commercial center, does it house a lot of shops, or are there a lot of offices? Are there factories or some kind of manufacturing facilities in this area? The reason I'm asking you is that one of the possibility is that this could just be a truck, undergoing a blast or some kind of explosive material, and some unfortunate incident that happened and not some kind of attack. So that's why I'm trying to understand what kind of a commercial center is this?
Well, this is Via Pier Lombardo. This is an area that houses a number of offices, also a number of homes. There is a school nearby. We do not know yet what is the reason for this blast. The blast had an origin, but clearly it spread beyond that origin, and a number of vehicles have caught fire. Nearby areas have been evacuated. We do not know as of now what is the reason for the blast, whether this could have been accidental, whether this was an act of sabotage, whether it was an act of terrorism. This, of course, is the matter that concerns the police most, and no doubt they're investigating to determine exactly what caused this blast.
Sanjay, there are certain initial reports coming in hinting towards the fact that this was a parked van that had caught fire. Is that what is something which the local sources are indicating to you?
It appears that it was a parked vehicle rather than a vehicle on the run, where the blast took place.
Okay.
That could perhaps mean an accidental blast, but it could also potentially, and
Be
we do not know
sabotage.
for sure,
Yeah.
be an act of terrorism where somebody plants a bomb and with a timer and then leaves it to go off, which is not uncommon in this kind of action. Therefore, this is going to be a matter that the police will investigate. And of course, should that be the case, and should the worst fears we realize that it was a deliberate act, then the police will of course want to make sure that they gather evidence and see that the person who caused this does not get away very far, and that the persons who perhaps were involved in a conspiracy to do this could be apprehended. But that is one line of investigation. It is not very common for parked vans to explode at
In
this
this way,
magnitude
yeah.
just on their own.
And Sanjay, I'm just
therefore
going to
the
weave
suspicion
together
is-
the details that you've put for our viewers. Please stay with us on the broadcast. This was a commercial center. It roughly happened around 12:15 to 12:20 p.m. That's exactly the time right now in Italy. And in this particular area, which is the northern part of Italy, in Milan, there are offices, there are homes, there are schools. So this is not some area where there are a lot of factories per se. This could be a very crowded, heavily, densely populated area. We'll continue getting you all the updates as and when the cause is ascertained. Thank you, Sanjay, Pathikrit Payne and Mr. Rabinder Sajte for joining us on the broadcast. And the latest news coming in, Supreme Court orders to present Imran Khan in the court within an hour. Now, Umar Atta Bandial, the Chief Justice of Pakistan, has said that NAB committed a contempt of court. That's the big development coming in right now. You'd remember about 48 hours ago, the former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan was arrested by the Pakistan Rangers. His party had alleged that the manner in which he was arrested was illegal. It was tantamount to some kind of abduction that was done at the behest of the government. The fact that his whereabouts were not known after the arrest, there were various questions about his safety and security as well. Now, it's the Supreme Court of Pakistan that had ordered to present Imran Khan in the court within an hour. The Chief Justice of Pakistan, Umar Atta Bandial, has said that NAB, which is one of the premier investigation agency in the country, has committed contempt of court, and also the NAB court, which had directed that he be arrested. Anand Narasimhan with us on the broadcast. Yes, Anand, please take us through the details.
Well, yes, this is a big development in court because the National Accountability Bureau has committed a contempt of court, is an observation made by the Chief Justice of Pakistan, Bandial. Now, in this case, what happens is they have asked for Imran Khan to be presented in court within an hour. Now, this could be a dramatic turn of events. Or will there be enough and more persuasion and convincing of the courts after the lawyers from the NAB present their argument is something which we'll have to wait and watch, because the Islamabad High Court's observations, the Chief Justice of Islamabad High Court, his observations were also very strong when initially Imran Khan was picked up from the court premises and taken away, whisked off. But then in that hearing which went on late night,
Yeah.
despite the court being very critical in its observations, it upheld the arrest as legal.
Okay.
Now we have to wait and watch what happens in Supreme